parked up in the southwest forests and we're gonna make, hi Beanie, we're gonna make our second coffee of the day, and I thought this would be the perfect time to show you how we make the perfect cup of coffee on the road. We use our Bellman. We've been using it for over 2 years now and we're completely obsessed. It honestly makes like barista quality coffee and there's a little bit to it, so we thought we'd do like a detailed how to use it and how to get the best coffee out of it. So I hope you enjoy. So first things first is you want to choose the right beans. So you always want to do whole beans, and we actually like to freshly grind them with our hand grinder each time we make them. That keeps them fresh, it keeps the flavour nice and rich. We found that the best beans are the stronger, richer flavoured ones. It just pulls more flavour through the Bellman. When we've used kind of not as strong beans, hasn't been as flavourful, so yeah, we definitely recommend a stronger bean. We've been obsessed with the Fremantle coffee, the Dr. bean. That one is just delicious. Yeah, let's get grinding. So while I'm grinding the beans, I will always put the kettle on to boil as well. We do this because one, it speeds up the whole process rather than having to bring the water to boil in the Bellman, and two, it actually stops your coffee from burning because it has less time with the heat underneath it, whereas if you're bringing it to boil in the Bellman, it's sitting on the stove for way longer and it can result in your grinds just burning a little or tasting a bit burnt. So yeah, we definitely recommend boiling water first to then pour into the Bellman. So I'll just run you through how we set up the Bellman. So the first step is you want to put your freshly ground grinds in your basket. It does come with a little dividing tool. If we're just making one coffee, we'll use that. But we have found, because we like our coffees quite strong, that we normally always use a full basket of grinds, and that just gets the, yeah, fullest espresso. The other thing you want to note is the size of your grinds. This can take a little bit of playing around. Pretty much you don't want them to be too fine, but you also don't want them to be too coarse. So we have kind of just found like the perfect happy medium. Again, that takes a little bit of playing around, but not too fine, not too coarse. Man, that smells good. So you just want to fill your basket with your fresh grinds. Once you've got your basket full of your grinds, you want to make sure you tamp it. So you can get a specific tamp for the Bellman. You just want to tamp it with a reasonably firm pressure, just making sure you're getting even amount of pressure across the whole basket. And then as for the setup of the Bellman, there's two seals that you need to just make sure are on correctly. So the first one is this little seal that sits under the lip of your basket. You want to make sure that's rolled up to the top, so when you slot it in, nothing's obstructing it while it's sitting on the lip of the Bellman. The other seal is on your like espresso spout thingamabob. So to set this up, it comes with this little plate, so you slot that in. And then this is the seal that wraps around it. You want to make sure there's no dirt or hair or anything on this seal, because if it's obstructed, it will leak and stop you from being able to use the Bellman properly. So yeah, you just slot that one on top of that little plate and push it in, and that's good to go. We always pour our boiling water in and fill it to about the 6 line. After a bit of playing around, I find filling it to the 6 normally gives me a more consistent pull and a decent amount of espresso. Then you slot your basket in, making sure that seal is all good, and then you take the espresso spout. Then you take this cap and put that on top and make sure you tighten it all the way so that no air or anything can leak out. Then it's ready to go on the stove. So because the water is already boiled, it doesn't actually take too long for the pressure to build in the Bellman, so you want to keep a close eye on the pressure gauge. We've found the way to get the best, creamiest espresso is once it hits 1 bar of pressure on the gauge, we will open the espresso spout just slightly, so you'll hear a little hissing sound. Then when you hear that, stop opening it, and then once it hits about 1.5 bar, that's when we'll start opening it slightly more until our espresso starts running. So we like to open it at 1, get that hissing sound, because it actually allows the pressure to build up through the coffee and begin to flow up through the nozzle. So when we open it at 1.5, there's already espresso there being pulled up. After a lot of playing around, we've just found that that gives us the best, creamiest, strongest amount of espresso. Our other top tip for the espresso is we actually pour the full amount of espresso into our milk jug. So we collect it all in there and then we evenly split it between our 2 mugs, because we found the first part of the espresso that is pulled is normally the strongest and the end part can be a little more watery. So that way we're both getting a strong, nice, even espresso in both of the mugs. Once it gets to this point where it's spattering quite a lot, that's when we normally stop pulling the espresso, because we find that's just like the end kind of watery bits. But yeah, we've got like at least 150 ml of beautiful, creamy, strong espresso here. So that's awesome. So now I just split that between our 2 mugs. Now for the fun part, the milk frothing. We froth our milk when it hits 3 bar of pressure. We always have our coffee with oat milk, and if you haven't tried this oat milk, then you are missing out. It is the best, the creamiest, most delicious oat milk to have with coffee. It's the alternative dairy co. Another tip that we've found super useful with the Bellman is you always want to make sure that you're purging your steamer before you're putting it in your milk. So once it hits 3 bar of pressure, we will open the spout and we'll purge it until it's all the way back down to the 2 bar. And then we let it build up to the 3 again, purge it a tiny bit, and then it's ready for you to froth your milk. Is how you make 2 beautiful, creamy, delicious oat milk lattes on the Bellman. It's actually super simple really, and probably our highlight of our day every day. So yeah, now we're going to enjoy these in the forest, and I hope this was helpful.